What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So the IRS just announced some very important dates, and these are things that you need to be well aware of. So I'm going to address what those dates are because this is the start of our tax filing season. Now, first, the IRS has stated that the nation's tax filing season will start on Monday, January 23rd. That's less than 2 weeks away. So if you are not ready, get ready because we can start filing. Now, this is big news for millions and millions of Americans. And I say this because according to the IRS, they are predicting that 168 million individual tax returns are going to be filed. They also are saying that the fastest way to get your refund, it's actually pretty simple. You must do an e-file, an electronic filing. If you do that along with direct deposits, you will see your money the quickest. They also say it's a good idea to avoid paper tax returns because even though they're getting better at it and they have reduced their backlog, they still have over 2.5 million unprocessed paper tax returns from just last year. So if you have to paper file, do it. If you can avoid it at all costs. Now, the IRS acting commissioner, and he said, and I quote, "We have trained thousands of new employees to answer phones and help people. Well, much work remains after several difficult years. We expect people to experience improvements this tax season. That is just a start as we work to add new long-term transformation efforts that will make things even smoother in future years." Now, a lot of these additional improvements will depend heavily on additional funding for the IRS. But also keep in mind, Republicans have targeted the IRS through recent bills, one of which just passed the House of Representatives this week. So even though the funding is still there, there's some people trying to claw it back, although it's highly unlikely it gets pulled back or 100% of it gets pulled back from both the House and the Senate. So we will see. Now, I do want to give you some key dates that we have here that are coming up regarding taxes. Okay, so let's start with some of these really quick. First, we got Friday, January 13th. This is when the IRS is going to open up their e-file, or the participating providers can start accepting these returns. That's good news. So if you are a taxpayer that earned $73,000 or less in 2022, you can actually file electronically at no cost to you. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people are worried that it costs money. I don't want to file my taxes. I'm going to have to spend $50, $100, $200. But at the same time, if you can get money back, why not do it? The next date is Tuesday, January 17th. This is the date for self-employed workers and taxpayers with estimated tax payments. This is the final day. Okay, this is the final day that you can submit these. Now, the IRS has stated that if you owe more than $1,000, you need to make a payment, and you need to do it at this time so you don't get hit with the penalty. All right. Now, in order to make the payment, it's very simple. You can do it over the phone. You can do it by mail, by mailing a check or a money order, or the easiest way is just to pay online. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm not self-employed. Why does this matter? There are some people that are self-employed that do watch the channel, so just wanted to fill you in on the date there. The next date is Monday, January 23rd. This is when, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is when the IRS is going to start accepting the individual electronic returns. Now, it says they're expecting 168 million people to process these returns. 90% of these will be expected to be e-filed through 1040, 1040A, 1040 Easy, and such. They also say the IRS generally refunds your payments 3 weeks after they are electronically filed. So in order to get your refund as quick as possible, again, e-file and direct deposit. One thing I can tell you though is that being that the earliest date that you can file is the 23rd, takes about 3 weeks, expect to receive your refund between February 6th and February 13th if you e-file and it's accepted on January 23rd. All right. Next date is Tuesday, January 31st. Now, this is when businesses and companies must provide a W-2 to all employees by this date. So, If you thought you can start filing as soon as January 23rd, honestly, you can't, because if you're waiting for a W-2, businesses have until January 31st to even send this to you. So again, and this also includes 1099s as well. So just keep that in mind. There's a list of the 1099s right there that will have to be submitted by that date as well, right? The next date, this is Wednesday, February 15th. Now, what is Wednesday, February 15th? Well, by law, the IRS states that they have to wait until the middle of February for any tax filer that is claiming the earned income tax credit or the additional tax credit, right? Now, the IRS has stated that if you do claim these two credits, either both or one, then the easiest way that, or the earliest that you will receive your refund is going to be about February 28th, all right? So just keep that in mind. Next date is March 15th. This is for partners and investors. They must submit their partnership returns by this date. And then tax day, okay? This is April 18th. I want to be very clear on this. Normally this normally falls on April 15th. In most years, it's April 15th. However, this year, this tax filing date is April 18th, so 3 days later, simply because April 15th is a Saturday. So because it's a Saturday, that means you will not be able to file until Monday. The problem there is that the District of Columbia celebrates Emancipation Day. This is also when the IRS does celebrate this day alongside of them, which means on Monday, the IRS is not open, which means they will be open on Tuesday, April 18th, which is the tax filing day. All right? So hopefully that didn't confuse anybody, but that is what we know. The next date is, let's see, we'll Monday the 15th. I want to explain this one. So Monday, May 15th, if you were a victim of the California winter storms, you actually saw a postponement where you don't have to file your taxes until May 15th, okay? So it's a whole month later simply because of the issues that obviously the state has had. So good news there. The next date is June 15th, all right? So if you are a taxpayer that's living abroad, you have until you pay 4 months, and it's automatic extension of 4 months. And so your tax deadline is actually June 15th, all right? Not April 15th. The next one is Monday, October 16th. So if you requested a extension through the IRS, then you have 6 months. So your tax date will be Monday, October 16th. Now, keep this in mind. Even though you may not file until Monday, October 16th, understand that if you have an estimated payment, that has to be sent in before the April 18th deadline, or else you will get hit with penalties and fees on top of whatever you owe. All right? So that is what we know at this time. There's a lot of dates here, but again, it's a major IRS announcement because this is the start of tax filing season. We're less than 2 weeks away, and this is good news because now that means millions of Americans can go and file their tax return and hopefully get some money back so that they can use it to pay for things like housing, food, or even transportation. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.